Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your TVC News of June 26, 2020. Tonight, the Back to School in September for Ontario, a new mathematics curriculum for Ontario students, a virtual farmers market in Prescott-Russell, towards the dissolution of the Artist Association of Clarence-Rockland. Well, students could be back in school as early as September in Ontario. Last Friday, the Ford government unveiled its back-to-school plan for Ontario's 2 million students. Parents will be able to choose between 3 models of learning: in classroom, at home, or in a modified classroom. The latter alternative may be the most widely used according to the government. School boards will need to plan for all 3 scenarios, taking into account the epidemic situation in their jurisdiction. In the hypothesis of an alternative school year, the number of students per classroom would be limited to 15 students plus 1 teacher. Premier Doug Ford said that school boards must be empowered according to their local priorities. The boards will need to be able to ensure a range of safety measures with strict protocols for daily screenings, access for essential staff, disinfection of rooms and buses. Minister Lecce's plan is, however, unclear at this time. He explains that between now and the fall, many things can happen and change. But Premier Ford has promised funding for each school board. Investments of up to $736 million have been announced for the next school year, bringing the total envelope for public education to $25.5 billion. The average provincial allocation per student is therefore expected to rise to $12,525, an increase of $250 over 2019 and 2020. Well, for those students that are going to go back to school, the Ford government has also announced a transformation of the school world. For him, mathematics disconnected from real life is over. The government added that a new math curriculum must project Ontario into the future and allow young people in grades 1 through 8 to develop a more positive relationship with the subject. And teachers will need to embrace it quickly. The new math program should begin as early as next fall. But one wonders whether in the current context teachers will have time to familiarize themselves with the new concepts and requirements of the program. The Ontario government swears that they will, and says that webinars and videos have been prepared to help teachers get there on time. The Ford government promises math courses on their own time and with practical examples to link mathematics to everyday life. It justified its claims by pointing out that before the examples were not concrete and from another era. According to the Ford team, students should know how to make budgets and learn how to manage their money well. Premier Ford also added another novelty. Ontario youth will start learning how to code as early as grade 1. Learning this computer language is presented as a way to prepare for future realities of the workplace. Ontario says it wants to join the ranks of those modern and progressive jurisdictions where learning the code is mandatory. The Ontario government also wants to transform the relationship young people have with mathematics. According to the province, students are too often afraid to make mistakes and fear this discipline. The new program includes a section devoted to the social-emotional learning of mathematics. It will be used to develop a positive identity and foster student well-being and the ability to learn, improve resilience, and grow. The provincial government wants to develop resourcefulness, compassion, teamwork, and the ability to manage stress. The government says all of these fundamental changes to the math curriculum are based on research and evidence. We remember that it used that kind of argument in the past to defend the changes it wanted to make to the sex education program. And finally, to support a successful transition, Ontario is therefore cancelling the Education Quality and Accountability Office reviews for students in grade 3 to 6 in 2020 and 2021. Ontario has extended the state of emergency this week until July 15th. Premier Doug Ford said he hopes this will be the last extension. There's also talks of banning large gatherings. On the expiry date of the state of emergency, the province will not be able to make new emergency orders, amend them, or enact new ones, but existing orders may be extended. Ontario reported this week 163 new cases of COVID-19 and 12 additional deaths. That brings the total number of cases in the province to 34,016 cases, including 2,631 deaths and 29,336 resolved cases. That's still 229 more resolved cases. That's a trend that Ontario has seen in the last few weeks, that resolved cases are increasing faster than active cases, with the exception of one day last Tuesday. The number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 and the number of people in intensive care and on ventilators, have all declined. The latter two numbers are at their lowest level since the province began releasing them in early April. Changing the subject for a moment, the Association des juristes d'expression française de l'Ontario supports the La Vie Noire Compte, Black Lives Matter movement. It recognizes and denounces all forms of discrimination and systemic racism. That is why it has taken the time to reflect on the establishment of concrete, timely, and sustainable actions to strengthen its position and impact in the legal community and the francophone population of Ontario. In the immediate term, therefore, AGEFO has undertaken to hold initial discussions with lawyers from the Black community to identify concrete measures for short, medium, and long-term impact. It has also undertaken to organize training next September on the realities of the Black community, particularly those affecting the profession. This is in order to raise awareness among all members of AGEFO and the legal community. The association also wants to build the capacity of the Ontario Legal Information Centre to respond to specific requests from the population related to racial discrimination. It is difficult to get a clear picture of what tourism in Eastern Ontario will look like this summer. Geneviève Duval, General Manager of Tourism Prescott and Russell, is optimistic despite the pandemic that is still affecting us. She firmly believes that visitors will be there. According to her, the number one rule, no matter what activity you want to do, will be to check with businesses or resorts before going there. Most of them will still offer some of their services to tourists, but they will respect the measures. By getting information or calling, people will be better able to plan their outing or reserve their place. To this end, you can go to the TVC 22 Facebook page. Mrs. Duval was a guest at the round table. The video has been available since Wednesday, June 24th. People can now buy a wide variety of local food products in the comfort of their homes because the Eastern Ontario Agri-Food Network has launched the virtual marketplace. It is the result of a collaboration between the United Counties of Prescott-Russell, the counties of Stormont, Dundas, and Glengarry, and the City of Cornwall. The goal is simple: to make local food more accessible to residents. On the cultural side, the committee of the Clarence-Rockland Artists Association has decided that there will be no exhibition this year due to COVID-19. Its president, Mrs. Jacqueline Thibodeau, says she is sorry for this inconvenience, but wishes to emphasize that health is the priority in this time of crisis. But the Artists Association of Clarence-Rockland has other concerns as well. If the association does not recruit 4 new members to sit on the committee by September 1st, 2020, the AACR will be dissolved. She explained that the committee will meet in early September 2020 to review the situation and the budget. And to conclude this TVC news, the City of Clarence-Rockland is implementing a ban on mechanical sprinklers. The City of Clarence-Rockland is asking residents who are connected to the municipal water system to reduce their consumption. The water that comes from the Ottawa River must be treated and disinfected before it reaches your tap. The water consumption is more frequent than usual. Right now, with more people at home, because of the pandemic, water consumption is more frequent than usual. The heat wave increases this overconsumption and causes a reduction in water levels in the reservoirs, resulting in a drop in pressure. The city reminds you that it is forbidden to water with a mechanical sprinkler until further notice. The water games will be able to continue to function, but there will be fewer structures open at the same time. The municipality has also closed its decorative fountains and will not wash municipal vehicles. More cooperation can be achieved by avoiding the use of water for non-essential purposes, such as washing cars and driveways, and also by reducing the use of the dishwasher and washing machine. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me for another episode of your TVC News, and remember that if you see something that could make the headlines, feel free to send us an email and contact us to let us know. Thanks again, we'll see you next week.